Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of our panel podcast, where we give you an insight from different sides of businesses and to examining different business issues. And there's one that we want to talk about that is a hot topic for this time of year. It's planning for a break. How often should you have them? When should you have them? What about how do you deal with a team? Should you all take them at once? It's a really interesting idea that, if we start in that end of things, because I recently had a conversation with someone who runs a business that's in the health and wellness sector, and they shut down for 4 weeks. And I found that really interesting, that their approach was to give their clients a break as well. So, Pierre, what's your thoughts? Do you give your clients a rest, or do you keep going and manage your staff across the board?
Anthony, thank you very much. I think a bit of it depends on the kind of business that it is. Certain businesses are very seasonal, so for them, shutting down over a let's say what we call a peak holiday period is actually a big negative. If you look at some of the tourism businesses, that's the time when they're really busy. So what you find with some certain business types, when other businesses are shut down and kind of on holiday, they actually are really busy and they get through a lot. Whereas then vice versa, when the other businesses are busy in normal peak times, these guys actually get a break. So I think a bit of it depends on the business industry or area that you're in. But giving the staff a break and potentially staging it so that your business can continue, I think is a good thing. It takes a fair bit of guts to shut your business down for 4 weeks completely, I think, and then start up again. It's a fair bit of savings that have to be made, especially from a financial side. So yeah, Yuriy?
Well, 4 weeks, yeah, shutting down business for 4 weeks, that probably would work, but I believe that it should be aligned with the client's demand and client's schedule as well. Because if, for example, health and wellness, if I just take gym, someone may have a real goal and deadline, and when their favorite gym shuts down for 4 weeks, that probably wouldn't be a very good idea. But overall, on the breaks, I would say, as we're working on productivity, and from the productivity as a human beings, we unfortunately or fortunately, we are not the machines, and we need breaks. And as often as we need, probably not as often as we want, but as often as we need, just to boost productivity, because endless working, sometimes, very often, we get into the trap of just too many things to do, being too busy, and keep working non-stop, even during the day. No breaks during the day. We think we achieve more, but in the end, we're slowing down and we're achieving certain things a lot slower. For example, if we take regular breaks every hour, our brain has a capacity to refresh, to switch off and on, and get things done faster.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting point that you raise, and just to cap off on the beginning part as well, is that what I find interesting now is, with technology, taking a break doesn't have to be taking a break, because videos and online tools allow you to still be there without really being there. So hopefully you can cater for some of those. Certain types of businesses can cater for some instructional things that can be done while they're not actually there. But absolutely about taking breaks during the day. I know I feel like I'm stapled to the seat too much. I have a desk here that's you can stand, that I up on, but or stand using, I should say, not stand. I probably can stand on it if I really wanted to, but I can't tell you how few times I use it, which is really frustrating, because I get to the end of the day and think, oh, why didn't I do that? It is that power of scheduling in those mini breaks is so huge, and even I used to work with someone that would have micro sleeps during the day. He would literally take a 10-minute nap, which I always found fascinating, because at this time I was working in an office building, and typical in a city environment where one office building faces the other, but he would turn his chair and face the window and just doze off for 10 minutes. I always wondered what the people in the building opposite were thinking when he was doing it. But certainly those mini, not just mini breaks during the day, but the power of taking a long weekend or a few days here and there, rather than necessarily going, right, I'm going to have a month or 2 months holiday, which is nice if your business can allow you to do that, but it's not practical for most business owners. It's the dream, I would say, that you've got a business that's functioning at a point where there's enough people that can run with it for you. But the majority of small and medium business owners, that isn't the case. So the problem with the 4-week break as well is that the volume of work that you have to do to get things done before you go on the break, and then the volume of stuff that you've got when you come back almost cancels out the break, right?
Well, usually yes, but the ideal scenario or the dream scenario is you set the process right before you go on holidays, just to make sure it's going to work. I think the problem that most business owners, and I've been there as well, end up in that situation where they come back from holidays and just overwhelm, and everything that accumulated in their absence just completely wipes out that holiday experience. And this is, first of all, the problem of the systemization of the process of the business and clarification of the processes, because there is no standard. Usually things are done in the business in ad hoc style, and when the head leaves, no one knows what to do and how to do things.
I also think, Yuri, I think that's a very important thing to kind of that you've mentioned. It's quite an odd situation for a lot of businesses. You have to reach a certain scale and size for someone to be able to walk away for even a 2 or a 3 week period without it impacting kind of the rest of the business. And you've got to have your staff and your processes trained up. I think something that we need to add here into the whole discussion about taking a break, it's not just about getting away and taking a break. It's actually getting away from the contact side of things. How many of us are mobile phones nowadays? Emails, contact, with Slack's on there. A lot of businesses nowadays are doing they're advertising on Facebook or other social media, that LinkedIn, the apps on the phone. So if someone comments on something, boom, you get a phone notification. On a Facebook, you get a phone notification. Your phone reminds you all the time that these things are going on in the background. And I think that's a big part of where getting away from something or taking a break from something, a plan has to be included to take a break from those items as well, whether it's social media, whether it's email, whether it's to give your brain a chance to recover and recoup. And that I think is a really difficult thing for a lot of small business owners to get done, and also to get to a stage where they can actually go away or get a break from those kind of that kind of environment and those that impact those business tools.
I think you're absolutely spot on. I know personally that I do switch my phone off come Friday, and everyone knows that deals with my business knows that I will be offline. Yeah. And so it's surprising how few messages you actually get when you tell people that, and that they're quite comfortable in waiting. And I love being switched off from the social part as that. But I think the one thing that I just wanted to touch base with both of you on as well is that, there is the aspect of things that impact what we're talking about. We started off really talking about, from a marketing perspective, telling people you're closed, and to change behaviors. Yuri, from your point of view, systemizing things so that it will continue to run while you're not there, and certainly, Pierre, I think that the idea of holidays is really impacts cash flow as well, because if people are not working, obviously there's no income coming in, but also there's holiday pay as well to consider. So it's not holidays is a big deal for businesses.
From my perspective, holidays shouldn't be not necessarily a big deal. It should be a week off, but coming back to Pierre's point previously, nowadays it takes a discipline to completely switch off and stay away and not getting involved. And even though it is like switching off the phone is fine, but it is so easy, right? You go and to Google something, you open your laptop to Google something personally, and then you get caught up with a number of new emails, so you start reading them, it really takes this real solid discipline to stay away, not to look at. And another thing really handy, especially when you have a team, to build, to put a gatekeeper there, or to build a couple of walls and leave just a little door where, in case of emergency or very exceptional circumstances, team can reach out to you, and couple of people, but there will be a couple of people between the team and yourself to justify whether it's worth your attention or not, or whether they can solve it themselves.
Yeah, very true, Yuri. So just to add on to that point about a small window for people reaching an emergency. Back when we lived in New Zealand, we helped out on a guy who used to run a dairy farm. When we lived in the area, he was president of the local golf club, and we helped out on his farm. And he always used to leave a note, and he said, if something electrical goes wrong, here's a number for electrician. If a plumber goes wrong, here's a number for a plumber. So he'd leave a list of all the contact people. And his attitude was like, his attitude was basically, I'm going away. He was in New Zealand. I'm going away for holiday in Australia. I can't do anything more from Australia than what you can do from New Zealand. And if the whole place burns down, wait until I'm back at Auckland Airport before you tell me, because I can't do anything about it. You're just going to ruin my holiday. And it was kind of just an interesting concept for someone to go, hey man, I can't do anything when I'm away. And that's kind of that to me is a good attitude to have when you're going to have a break. It's like, hey, that's what it is. And so there was just an interesting way to look at it. So
yeah, that may sound a little bit harsh and cruel, but it is really a very good way of thinking about that, because, well, you can't do anything while you're on holidays, especially in that situation. Well, why to ruin that?
Yeah. I know. I remember a couple of years back that I took a break, and it was a trip that I was doing on my own. And there was a certain part of it that I really invested quite a bit in terms of emotionally as much as financially. And it was a one-off opportunity. And, I got to the first day and I thought, I'm getting calls from all of this stuff. And I just said no and stopped and said, I'm not available for the next 10 days. Let's hope that we can, that you all can survive it. And you know what? Everything was still running and it was all good, and I had a much better break for it. So there you go, everyone. That's an answer to a complicated question about taking breaks. There's mini breaks, there's short breaks, there's long breaks, but it's about being prepared and making sure all the business is talking to one another. So if you've got any other questions like that you want to ask us and put to the panel, we'd be delighted to hear from you. So add them to the comments, and we look forward to hearing from you next time.